This is Fresh Air contributor Anne-Marie Baldonado. I talked with actor Cole Escola about their hit Broadway play, Oh, Mary. Cole plays an unhinged, alcoholic Mary Todd Lincoln who's an aspiring cabaret performer. If that makes no sense, that's part of the point. You can find my interview on the Fresh Air podcast.
Hello and welcome to Car Talk from National Public Radio with us, Click and Clack, the Tappet Brothers, and we're broadcasting this week from the Center for Criminal Stupidity here at Car Talk Plaza. Now, this should cheer everyone up. This is a true story, evidently.
Yeah, and it was in Automotive News.
It was reported by Automotive News, that's right.
So it's an automotive story.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
A guy walks into Patrick Auto Sales. This is a used car dealership near Detroit. The guy, whose name is Bobby James Webb Stokes III,
You're going to worry right away.
allegedly pulls out an Uzi-style firearm and demands a car. The salesman, fearing for his life, hands over the keys to an 87 Chrysler LeBaron. Your LeBaron or your life? There's an easy choice.
No-brainer.
Anyway, this guy, Webb Stokes, takes off in the car, and later on, he calls the dealership to complain that the LeBaron is overheating. The salesman says, "Oh, really? Why don't you bring it in?" He does, and he's arrested on the spot. Pretty good, huh? It had to be true. You couldn't make up a story like that.
You can't make up this stuff. There's a TV show, The World's Stupidest Criminals or something, and it's full of the guys like this.
Well, I remember hearing a few years ago there were a couple of guys that decided they were going to steal an ATM, and they hook up their bumper of their pickup truck with a chain to this ATM machine, and they try to yank the thing out of its mooring. And they try, and what happens is it rips the bumper off the truck.
Of course.
Realizing that they're not going to get the thing out, they take off, leaving the bumper
and
with the
plate.
license plate behind. Anyway, if you'd like to call us with something stupid, or get a stupid answer from us, the number is 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255.
Oh, thank heavens.
Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Adrian calling from beautiful Sisters, Oregon.
Hi, Adrian.
Beautiful Sisters?
Beautiful Sisters.
Is the name of the town Sisters or Beautiful Sisters?
Sisters.
Oh, Sisters.
Oh, I thought it was Beautiful Sisters.
Yeah, they missed the
Beautiful
opportunity.
Sisters, Oregon.
It's Sisters, Oregon.
Cool.
No kidding.
Anyway, what's up, Adrian?
Well, my loved one, the love of my life, my husband, has a birthday coming up.
Uh-huh.
And I have, or thanks to my mother-in-law, I drive a 91 Moose-Proof Saab 900S. And my husband and I, a couple months ago, passed a rock yard. And my husband is really into rocks.
A rock yard?
A rock yard. And so I want to surprise my husband for his birthday in a few weeks with some rocks. And these weren't just any old rocks. These, I think, were granite rocks.
But we do get the wackos, huh? Well, you sounded...
Hey, look, when you don't get any calls, you got to take whatever
at first
calls
blush,
you get.
you sounded so normal, Adrian.
She did.
But
I mean, I was going to ask what's a rock yard, but I said, no, it'll come out.
It'll surface.
It'll surface somehow in the conversation.
They sell all sorts of rocks. Granite rocks, basalt.
Yeah, your basic igneous and sedimentary. I mean,
yeah. And so I want to drive back. I want to go over to Portland. It's about a 3-hour drive.
Mm-hmm.
Pick up as many rocks as I can safely carry in the Saab. And I don't have a clue how much weight I can carry in the back of my Saab, given that I have a mountain pass to climb coming over.
Oh, boy.
So I need your help.
I mean, you would buy, like, a lot of heavy rocks? I mean,
Well,
is your
yeah.
husband into
rocks
big
by
rocks?
definition
They're big rocks.
are heavy.
And they are. I mean, again, I'm not a big rock person, but they have a great shape to them. And he's into rocks, and we have rocks around our 2 little wading-sized ponds outside. And he just loves moving and redecorating with his rocks.
Give me, just let me get the picture here. These rocks that you would be buying, are they like 7 or 8 inches wide and
At least,
bigger than a basketball?
yes.
Watermelon?
Yeah, or watermelon and a half.
You're looking at
a watermelon and a cantaloupe.
A watermelon and a kiss. You're looking at 100 pounds of rock.
Or more.
Or more.
Of each, by the each.
Correct.
And then you might buy what? How much are these rocks? What are they going for?
They're 29 cents a pound.
29 cents a pound.
Oh.
Right.
What a wonderful idea.
Uh-huh.
I often wondered, what if they sold other things by the pound, like light bulbs?
Yeah, parakeets.
You know, by the pound,
parakeets are going to be $2,500 a pound.
They cost more than anything. Parakeets and light bulbs are way, way up there.
Oh, yeah.
But rocks.
Rocks.
It's cheap.
Yeah.
Well, here's the issue. I mean, you may be able to put 7 or 8 of these rocks in your trunk, but I will tell you a little story. Some years ago, I went to a local discount store that sold all kinds of things, among them drill presses. So I think, gee, it would be awfully nice to have a big drill press.
Everybody needs one.
Everyone needs a drill press. You never know
In
what
your
for.
basement.
In my basement.
Or your living room if your wife will stand for it.
So I buy this thing. It's made in Taiwan, and it's all cast iron with a big motor. And I don't know what it weighs, but these 2 gorillas bring it out to the loading dock. And they very carefully place it in the trunk of my car. And as I'm closing the trunk, the 2 of them are walking away laughing. And one of them says, "Good luck getting it out." And that's the obvious. I mean, if you do get the rocks in, you're never going to get them out. You're going to kill yourself. I mean, don't they deliver?
No, well, it's a 3-hour drive from here, so no.
Well, I mean, I would say, technically speaking, if in fact it were 600 or 700 pounds of rocks, you could do it.
Really?
Sure. Well, sure. I mean, think about 2 mothers-in-law in the back seat.
Oh,
$280 a piece. That's almost 600 pounds. And with their pocketbooks, $750.
Yeah. So, I mean, if the car were full of people, you can't go with anybody, of course. You got to do this on your own.
Right. Me and my dog, my trusty travel
Your dog,
companion.
yeah. And I wouldn't put them all in the trunk. I would, scatter them around the car.
Okay.
A couple on the hood.
on the floor of the back seat.
Yeah, the floor of the front seat.
Okay.
So you don't have all the weight on those rear springs.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, you could rent or borrow, preferably, a car from somebody.
That would be...
But you really need...
You can't borrow a car from somebody and then go fill it up with rocks.
No?
No.
Why don't you rent a little U-Haul van?
I could do that.
Rent the smallest truck you can get, and that'll do it.
Okay.
And you can fill the thing up with rocks because, what? It's not your truck.
No,
True.
you can't, though, because don't forget, they're 29 cents a pound.
Yeah, but...
You buy 1,000 pounds of rocks, man, you're up to $300. $300.
That's
It's only your
over our
husband.
But they're rocks! Well, I think you have rocks in your head, actually, but...
Adrian, you've made my day.
You guys are so good. You're
Good
the
luck.
best.
But see if you can rent a van,
Okay.
and it'll save your sob.
Okay.
See you,
Great.
Adrian.
Thank you.
Bye.
I don't think it matters. I mean, you throw a couple of heavyweights in the back seat. What's the difference?
Yeah, but I have a feeling she's
going
going to
to
end
go
off
crazy.
buying 1,500 or 1,800 pounds of rocks.
Yeah, then it would be a problem.
Yeah, then she'll blow a head gasket on the Saab. It'll be a disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you don't want to be constrained. You don't want to go there saying, I can only buy 700 pounds worth of rocks.
You may find
Oh, you may
the
find
rock of all rocks.
Rock of a
the rock of
lifetime.
ages.
Yeah, and you wouldn't want to say, I can't buy it for my dear husband because my car won't handle it.
Right, and someone else will buy the rock. They probably don't even put rocks aside for you. You're going to cash and carry, so to speak.
Of course.
I don't know. Seems nuts to
They don't
me.
have they don't have a layaway plan.
1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Dale from Masonville,
Dale!
Colorado.
Masonville, Colorado.
Yes, that's about 70 miles north of Denver.
Masonville, you're up near
North
the
of Denver.
Near the Wyoming border.
Windy, Wyoming, you bet.
Yeah. So what's going on, man?
I've got a 1970 Ford pickup that I inherited from my father when he passed away. And I went out this spring to try to start it, and it wouldn't start. So I got looking a little further and discovered that flake corn was coming out of both of the glass pack exhausts. What had happened, my mother, who lived there with my dad, had fed her rabbits every day flake corn, and unbeknownst to her, mice had taken the flake corn, and somehow, and that is question number one, how did they get it in the exhaust? The exhaust is what, 10 inches off the ground. Would they stand on each of their little backs and pick it up piece by piece?
They may have built a ladder of OCA.
Yeah.
Well, the bottom line is I tried several things to get it unhooked. I went out and gunned it, and I got the left side loose. A bunch of smoldering corn came plowing out one exhaust.
Yeah.
Luckily, didn't hit anybody at the time. The other side is just hopelessly plugged.
Oh, you know when they did this? In the winter.
Yes. Yes.
They didn't have to build a ladder. They climbed up that
On the snow.
ramp of snow. So that's what they did.
So the other side, when you say it's hopelessly plugged, you don't feel any exhaust coming out of it.
Very little. Very little, and a little flake corn comes popping out. But
Yeah. See, I hate to think it, but I think.
Oh, no. I don't think so. You think it went in the other way?
No. I think that the reason it's plugged up is not that it's plugged up with corn, but it's plugged up with the little creatures who delivered the corn.
Probably right.
I mean, the corn couriers?
The corn carriers are in there with their little backpacks, and they
Singing, hi-ho, hi-ho.
It's off to the muscle we go. Da, 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 da.
Do you hear any singing?
No.
You turn the engine off.
If you listen really carefully.
Well, actually, I took it down the road quite a ways, and it died on me after I got one side loose, thinking that I could break the other one loose with the acceleration.
Yeah,
and it died.
Well,
So
what you
instead
need to do is you need to take off. This has dual exhaust, and you need to take off the muffler on that side.
Okay.
Because the muffler is the only thing that is labyrinthal. That once they got into it, it's unlikely they got beyond it.
Is it welded on, or is that?
No, it's probably clamped on, but you have to practically destroy it. I would just, if you can get it to a gas station, just have them cut that thing off with a torch or air chisel it off.
Well, that was my plan, cutting it off, but I thought I would wake the neighbors on my way down about 10 miles to the nearest gas station.
No. It'll be unless you gun it, it'll be pretty quiet. But you can cut that off with a hacksaw.
Yeah, that I can do.
And when you do that, you're going to notice it weighs about 95 pounds, and the thing will run like a dream. Because it has to be there. It's unlikely they got beyond the muffler.
But, I would try to take it off delicately.
I wouldn't.
You don't think so? You might actually, once you take the muffler out of there, if you could get it off without wrecking everything, you might be able to, shake those little fellows out of there.
You ain't going to...
Let them live.
No, you ain't going to shake
You
those.
don't think so?
No.
Gee, it might be worth a shot.
And even if you could, would you want to? Saw the muffler off.
Yeah.
With a hacksaw and try to get it as close to the muffler, the cut that is, as you possibly
don't screw
can.
Up. You don't want to have to buy a front pipe.
So saw that muffler off at the point closest to the muffler, start it up, it'll run like a dream, then you can drive to Midas and have them throw a new muffler on there.
And get rid of the corn and the mice.
Get rid of the corn and the mice. Good luck, Dale.
Thank you.
Good luck is right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, don't go anywhere because we've got a lot more calls, well, a few anyway, and the puzzler answer coming up right after this.
I'm Tanya Mosley, co-host of Fresh Air. At a time of sound bites and short attention spans, our show is all about the deep dive. We do long-form interviews with people behind the best in film, books, TV, music, and journalism. Hear our guests open up about their process and their lives in ways you've never heard before. Listen to the Fresh Air podcast from NPR and WHYY.
These days, there's a lot of news. It can be hard to keep up with what it means for you, your family, and your community. Consider This from NPR as a podcast that helps you make sense of the news. 6 days a week, we bring you a deep dive on a story and provide the context, backstory, and analysis you need to understand our rapidly changing world. Listen to the Consider This podcast from NPR.
Hey, it's Sarah Gonzalez. The economy has been in the news a lot lately. It's kind of always in the news, and Planet Money is always here to explain it. Each episode, we tell a sometimes quirky, sometimes surprising, always interesting story that helps you better understand the economy. So when you hear something about cryptocurrency or where exactly your taxes go, ya sabes. Listen to the Planet Money podcast from NPR.
Hi, we're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappet Brothers, and here's the answer to last week's puzzle.
Is this the puzzler about the two guys that were found dead in the woods?
Yeah.
Yeah, thought so.
You did, huh? Actually, this puzzle was emailed to us recently.
It was emailed to me, too.
By Julie. You got it too, huh? Catherine, you devil, you. Yeah, see if I dropped that Imelda thing from the credits this week. Well, anyway,
Okay.
here it is.
Yeah.
2 men are found dead in a cabin in the woods. There is no evidence of their being shot, stabbed, strangled, poisoned, burned, drowned, starved, or bored to death from listening to car talk. The cabin did not burn down. A tree did not fall on the cabin. They were not attacked by animals, and they did not die of natural causes or old age. And I've pretty much covered all
Pretty
the
much
bases.
everything.
Both men had been healthy in their late 20s or early 30s and were married, and their wives were hundreds of miles away at the time and alive. The question is, how did the 2 men die? Now, I said I covered all the bases, but I didn't. There was one thing that was omitted.
Well, there are lots of things that you omitted.
Well, when I said they didn't die by starvation or stabbing or strangulation or poisoning or whatever, but they did die by accident. Mm-hmm. Because the cabin they were in crashed. The cabin was the cabin of a plane. Oh, come on. I love your ringing endorsements. And
I guess it's all right.
well, do we have a winner this week
Yes,
at least?
we do have a winner.
Jeez.
The winner is Ann Maddox from Kingston Springs, Tennessee.
Yeah, big deal.
And for having your correct answer chosen at random from among the thousands of correct answers.
I don't think Ann should get a prize.
What?
I mean, if the puzzle's that lousy, does she deserve a prize?
No, she doesn't. Forget it. Ann, I'm sorry I made a mistake. For having your correct answer chosen this week, you will get absolutely nothing because the puzzler stank. That's probably better than getting the CD we're going to send
she'll
her.
get a prize that is appropriate for her response.
Yeah, we got to get rid of this. We got these CDs. Yeah. Men are from GM, women are from Ford, lawyers are from Chrysler.
Daimler Chrysler.
Daimler Chrysler. And we'll send one to Ann Maddox, and that's it.
Yeah, anyway, we have a brand new quasi-automotive puzzler coming up with the third half of today's show, so don't touch that dial. In the meantime, we'll take your calls at 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-727-8255. Couldn't help myself. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
This is Liz in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Hi,
Liz. How are you?
I'm fine. I have to sort of change gears here because I'm at work and I'm a nurse, and this is going to be talking about cars. I'm not used to doing this while I'm at work.
You're not neglecting any patients, are you?
No, I'm not.
You don't have any wheezers, huh?
No, I work in a long-term care facility. I'm assistant director of nursing, so I do a lot of paper pushing.
Oh, so that's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
You're just part of the expense for the hospital.
That's right.
That's it. Okay. You don't actually take care of anybody or save any lives.
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, good.
So what's up, Liz?
Well, I have 93 Plymouth Acclaim, and I love this car, and it hasn't really given me any trouble, but intermittently I get gas dripping out from around the gas tank. Mm-hmm. We took it in.
The filler, you mean, of the gas?
No, underneath the car.
Yes, underneath the car.
The tank itself. Oh, it's really
not where you put the gas in that it's dripping.
No, it's underneath where the gas tank is and where I understand the fuel filter or fuel pump is.
Good. Okay.
And we had a new fuel pump put in and a fuel filter.
I believe the fuel pump is inside the tank in this car.
Yes, it is.
So you had this done just prior to the leak starting, or?
No, I had it done when we noticed this leak.
Okay.
It's still doing it. Yeah, it's intermittent, though. I went for quite a while without doing it. One of the things the guy told me was to not let it get too close to empty because I'm going to be sucking up more dirt to clog up that fuel filter.
Oh.
Wait, let's forget about that. When he had the tank out and when he was underneath the car, did he not see any evidence of the leak? I guess not, huh?
Well, I'll tell you.
I don't know if he saw it. We just told him what was happening, and they told us what it was, and they supposedly fixed it.
I think this vehicle has a funny kind of quick disconnect fitting on the gas filter. In other words, it has, the old days, gas filters were attached to the fuel line with a rubber hose and a worm-style clamp, like a radiator clamp that's tightened with a screwdriver. Mm-hmm. But that was too easy. And for whatever reason, many manufacturers, or most actually, have changed over to a quick disconnect. And that is a misnomer if there ever was one, because you can never get these things apart. Right. It's a fitting that's designed to be squeezed or pried on, and it just pops off, so there's no clamp to tighten. It makes assembly
cheaper than the old ones.
It's cheaper because it's quick to assemble. The assembler just takes a thing and snaps it together, and much like a seat belt snaps on. You understand? Mm-hmm. And it's possible that thing has a little neoprene or some Viton rubber seal that is supposed to keep the gas from leaking out. And I've seen these things be perfectly okay for days and days and days, and then just leak like crazy for no obvious reason. Maybe it's change in temperature or something, and it'll leak for a day, and then boom, stop and leave no trace.
And when it's leaking, when I notice it, I pull away and I can see this little puddle, and it was just dripping. And when I got to where I was going, it wasn't doing it anymore.
Here's what you need. You need a jumpsuit.
Exactly.
I haven't worn a jumpsuit since the 60s.
Well, you're going to have to wear one.
You need to go to a store that sells work clothes.
Yeah.
And you need to, when you smell the gas, which you may smell, you need to jump out of the car, in fact, you might want to just drive to work with the jumpsuit on. You need to jump out and stick your noggin underneath there, and I bet you will see that it is coming from the fitting that connects to the fuel filter.
Well, it does seem to be that area, my husband said.
Right in front of the right rear wheel.
Yes, it is.
Once you find the leak, you've got to tell this guy exactly where it is, and he'll order that line from the dealer and replace it. It's probably $20.
You're saying you think it's this quick disconnect
thing?
Yep,
that hooks to the filter.
Ah.
Good luck, Liz.
Thank you very much, guys. I really enjoy your show.
Thanks for your call.
Good luck. Get back to that nursing.
I will.
Bye-bye.
Beep,
Thanks.
beep, 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 beep. Oh, it's Alice again. What a pain in the neck. Turn off her IV.
Crank up the oxygen. Give her a cigar to smoke. 1-888-CAR Talk. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi there. This is Jim from Norman, Oklahoma.
Norman from Jim, Oklahoma.
That is correct.
What's up, man?
Well, I was going to call in with a car problem, but I really have a car talk problem.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
you and a lot of other people.
Yeah, I know, and I listen on KGOU, the University of Oklahoma station, and last week you introduced the puzzler, and I guess it was a Martin Gardner puzzler, and you said, I think last week, that he was a dad and he couldn't sue, and I was kind of a bit taken back and literally shocked. I am a big fan and admirer of Martin Gardner. And I thought I would have known before you guys. So
see that?
Well, I decided. I called my dad because he's fairly up on this information, and after we talked for a while, I was thankfully 100% convinced that he was still alive.
Who's your dad?
Well, my dad's Martin Gardner, you dummies.
I was about to say that I think we received an email from his son.
That's right.
That would be you, huh?
I can say that he is both alive and still in the puzzle business.
I apologize for that faux pas. We are both big fans of your father's mathematical puzzles for many years.
Boy, my hero. My hero is Martin Gardner.
Yeah, he's my hero too. So I can.
So what does he do these days?
Well, he wrote a column in Scientific American for 25 years.
We read every one of them.
Games. And he retired from that, but he's still been writing. So he's been editing a lot of his old columns and adding new information.
Well, tell Dad that we're glad he's alive and well.
Yeah,
I've made this mistake many times in the past. When I discovered that Lawrence Welk had died, it was apparently, in my estimation, for the second time. But
third or fourth time. And in fact, if you guys are interested, I spoke to my dad, and when the time comes, he has a puzzler for you.
No,
well,
kidding. The time is coming in about 5 minutes.
Oh well, what do you know?
So do you have the puzzler at your disposal? Or
I have the puzzler at my disposal.
Well, it may be one that I've already stolen from him.
Well, my sense is it probably is.
All right, well, hold on, Jimmy. Here's what we're going to do.
I will hold on.
We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, you'll give the new puzzler. How's that?
I will be happy to do that, guys.
So we'll have an authentic Martin Gardner puzzler coming up.
Right from the horse's son's mouth, so to speak. I mean, this is really a treat for us.
And I get out of having to come up with a puzzler.
Great conversation makes for a great party. But how do you ask the questions that really make the room come alive? Well, here at Life Kit, we got you.
What is a path you almost took but didn't?
On our latest episode, how to ask the magical questions that'll make your party sparkle. Listen to the Life Kit podcast from NPR.
Keeping up with the news can feel like a 24-hour job. Luckily, it is our job. Every hour on the NPR News Now podcast, we take the latest, most important stories happening, and we package them into 5-minute episodes so you can easily squeeze them in between meetings and on your way to that thing. Listen to the NPR News Now podcast. Now.
Look, we get it. When it comes to new music, there is a lot of it, and it all comes really fast. But on All Songs Considered, NPR's music recommendation podcast, we'll handpick what we think's the greatest music happening right now and give you your next great listen. So kick back, settle in, get those eardrums wide open, and get your dose of new music from All Songs Considered, only from NPR.
On NPR's Throughline,
witnesses were ending up dead.
How the hunt for gangster Al Capone launched the IRS to power.
Find NPR's Throughline wherever you get your podcasts.
Ha! We're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert brothers, and we're here to discuss cars, car repair, and the new puzzler. And here to help us, believe it or not, is Martin Gardner's son, Jim, who's going to deliver this week's puzzler.
Yes, and
so you'll get all the hate mail, Jim.
So Martin Gardner is the father of puzzlement, and Jim is his son, so Jim must be puzzlement.
Yeah, and Jim called because I guess I said that Dad had left us, and Dad hasn't left us.
And he has no intention of leaving us either. So, Jim, what is this puzzler?
There are 3 on and off switches are on the wall on the first floor of a building. You can tell when they're switched on or off. They've got things that say on and off.
Mm-hmm.
One switch controls a bulb in a lamp on the 3rd floor of the building.
Hmm.
The other 2 switches are dummies. They're not connected to anything. You are allowed to toggle the switches as many times as you please, and then you are allowed to walk just once to the 3rd floor to check the light bulb. How can you know then which switch controlled the bulb? And that's the Martin Gardner puzzle.
Okay.
That's very, very good.
Okay. All right. This is a test of your memory. Can you state it again?
Are you asking me or your brother?
No, you.
I've got it written down in front of me.
Oh, he's got it written down.
Yeah. Oh, see, no wonder it was so smooth. Should I do that?
No, don't.
No.
You spoil everything.
All right. Yes, a second time, Jim.
A second time, just to make sure that the slower among us have an opportunity to jot down whatever little
I got
clues.
lost with the 3 switches. But
There
go
are
ahead.
3 switches on the wall. One of them is attached to a light on the 3rd floor, and the other 2 are dummies.
That's correct.
Okay.
3
Like
on
us.
and off switches are on the wall on the 1st floor of a building, and you can tell when they're on or they're off, but only one switch controls a bulb in a lamp on the 3rd floor. The other 2 switches are dummies. They're not connected to anything. You can toggle the switches on and off as many times as you please, but then you're allowed to walk to the 3rd floor just one time to check the light bulb. How can you know which switch controlled the bulb?
Okay.
I got
Jim, it's an honor to have spoken to you. Please give my very, very best to your father. He
And
is
more importantly,
a great man.
please give us the answer.
Not
you
now.
mean I have to do that?
No, you don't have
No,
to.
you can email it to us.
Yeah,
I think I have the answer.
I may too, but I have to work out the details.
I think I have it.
Jim,
Yeah.
it's a pleasure.
Well, good luck and a pleasure talking to you two gentlemen.
Thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Now, if you think you know the answer to Martin Gardner's puzzle, or you're basically shut in and you just want to communicate with anybody, send your answer to Puzzler Tower, Car Talk Plaza, Box 3500, Harvard Square, Cambridge.
Our fair city.
Ma 02238, or you can email us your answer from our website, cartalk.msn.com. Just click on the Talk to Car Talk section. You know, I kind of like this guest puzzler thing. It would kind of take the heat off me, so to speak.
I know. In fact, why don't we get Martin Gardner every other week?
Yeah, and we'll get Marlon Vos Savant the other week.
They're about it, right? There's no one else to go to.
No, except us, and everyone knows how lousy our
I'm sure
puzzlers
Daniel
are.
Pinkwater can come up with a couple.
Yeah, a couple a year anyway, you know.
Yeah,
Jeez.
A guest puzzler.
Cool.
Good.
Anyway, if we choose your correct answer at random from among all the correct answers we receive, you'll get one of our crummy CDs called Men Are From GM, Women Are From Ford. It's a CD about couples and cars and God knows what else. If you'd like to call us, the number is 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-278-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, it's Matt. I'm from Los Angeles.
Hi, Matt.
How you doing?
Good.
What's up?
Well, here's my story. I drive a Volvo 850 Turbo.
Yeah.
One evening, I live here in L.A., as I said, and I was driving home on the freeway, and all of a sudden, shrapnel or something just starts flying all around the car. And
that's L.A. for you.
Was I driving in front of you?
Yeah. It's like a war zone, and we're all these cars in the freeway are trying to avoid this stuff, and it's just blowing all over the freeway. And I hit kind of glancing blow on the right side of what looked like some sort of car part laying on the freeway, and immediately had what appeared to be a flat tire. Pulled over onto the side of the freeway, get out of my car, and I look up and down the freeway. There must have been, it turned out the police told me, about 45 cars pulled over by all this debris. What had happened was a big flatbed truck loaded up with crushed cars was loaded up a little too high, and when it went under the underpass,
sheared off the top car.
One of the cars got sheared off. It just completely disintegrated on the freeway.
Oh, great.
The amazing thing is that no one was hurt, no one collided with anybody else, just everybody had a lot of damage from running into these, car parts. What was amazing, what was incredible was that I got my police report in, got my car loaded up onto a flatbed, and it's 11:30 and I'm heading home.
Cool.
I'm thinking I'm one of the luckiest guys in the world, right?
Yeah.
And it looked like the only thing that really happened to my car was that I had these two flat tires plus my rims had been pretty badly, damaged and broke from the...
Why do I
Sounds like there's more to the story, however.
There is more to the story. This isn't it. So I'm talking to the guy. We're going home. We're having a very nice conversation. I really think this is one of the nicest tow truck drivers I've ever met. And we get near my house. We turn a corner, and I'm just talking, have a nice conversation. The truck kind of bounces as we go around the corner. I turn around, look behind, at my car to see if it's okay, and it's not there.
F-O-T! F-O-T!
And you never noticed?
So I tell the guy, finally, I go, I think you dropped my car somewhere back behind us here. And, I've never seen a guy turn so white in my entire life. I mean, he's turning it around. So
you turn around. How far did you have to go before you found it?
A quarter mile. He dropped it in the intersection where I felt that bouncing. That was obviously from the car.
And it actually fell off the truck?
Yeah, it did a belly flop right in the center of a major intersection in Manhattan Beach, which is where I live. and we went back there, and sure enough, it was sitting there. It literally had landed right on its belly. It didn't flip over. It didn't appear to do anything other than that. It just came right off the truck.
Oh, man. How new a Volvo 850 is this?
It's a 96.
Oh, man.
Like late,
Yeah, like almost a 97.
Yeah, almost 97. As far as I'm concerned, when I bought it, right?
Yeah, that's worth $30,000.
Yeah.
No, not now.
Yeah, exactly.
not at this particular moment.
So aside from the fact that this would be a great law school question for which insurance company is responsible for all the damage, my question is, and what I'm trying to deal with, I'm an insurance company hill right now. I'm trying to get the insurance company to total this thing because, from my way of thinking, when a car takes a 5-foot drop off a flatbed, I mean, how can the car ever be expected to drive properly?
I can speak from personal experience.
You've dropped a lot of them.
This matter, but I have dropped a car from 5 feet.
Yeah, 5 feet is a lot.
5 feet totals them. At least from my experience.
No, but you dropped it on its head. This thing landed on its feet.
Well, that was the first one, landed on its side. Subsequent ones have landed belly down.
Belly down.
Yeah, no. 5 feet's bad.
I think so.
I mean, you're going to have to get it to a frame shop.
Right.
Because what will determine whether or not it's been totaled is whether or not the frame is bent beyond the point where it can be straightened. Mm-hmm. And because they're really not set up to straighten frames that have been bent from the bottom like this, they may have a difficult time getting the thing to the point where it's alignable.
Right.
Frames usually bend left to right, or right to left, but not down to up.
Right.
Yeah, you need to take this thing to the Volvo dealer and get a letter from them that says, Matt's car is done for.
Right.
Send him a check.
Now, is the Volvo dealership, or is a Volvo a typical dealership, do they have a frame shop, or
They'll send it out. What they will do is they will have their guys look at it first.
Right.
And then if they have any doubts, they'll send it out. And they'll be the most credible, too.
Right.
But if you take it to Joe Blow's frame shop, they may not believe him. They may believe you paid him off.
Right.
At falling. I mean.
And I mean, about the insurance. I mean, obviously, the tow truck driver's insurance is covering this, right?
Well, no, actually, I will tell you this. What's amazing is I won't mention the name of the insurance company. What's amazing to me is that
they're almost all a bunch of no good, unscrupulous sleazeballs.
In my brother's humble opinion.
You know what they're trying to do? They're trying to pin most of this damage
on the truck.
On the truck that blew that lost the car on the freeway.
Ah,
right. And if that had
that's bull.
And if they can sue Coronado, because if he hadn't come from Spain to explore that whole area and stake that out for the Spaniards, California wouldn't be called California, and you wouldn't live there.
That's right.
I mean, how far back can you go? No, it's the fault of the guy that hooked up the truck incorrectly.
Of course.
It's clearly his fault.
What did I just say? In my opinion, and a bunch of no good, unscrupulous sleazeballs.
My feeling about this is you sue everybody.
That's it. You know what to do? Tell them either they give you a check tomorrow or you're going to start having personal injuries. You're going to start getting nervous about the nightmares that you've been having. I've been having nightmares about the car falling off, and I'm in it.
It's intentional.
Right, ever since this has happened. You ready for this? I've had the recurring nightmare that I'm driving my car off a cliff. I can't sleep anymore.
I can't even drive anymore.
Yeah,
I can't go to work anymore.
I'm incapable
of
function.
Matt, you're in Fat City, man. You are in Fat City.
This is it.
I told you guys were great.
And that will work. But I'm telling you, you'll never have to work another day in your life.
Oh, yeah.
This is the best thing that ever happened to you.
I can retire.
Yeah. You'll be driving a Lincoln, man. See you later.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, man.
You never know, there's a silver cloud.
There's a silver
cloud to every line.
While you've wasted an otherwise perfectly good hour listening to Car Talk, our esteemed producer is Mr. Doug Berman. Our associate producer is Mr. Ken Rogers. Our assistant producer is Catherine Ray. Our engineer is Jonathan Marston, and our menu advisor is Mr. John S. Lawler. Our public opinion pollster is Paul Murky of Murky Research, assisted by statistician Marge and Overa. Our customer care representative is Haywood Jabuzoff. Our attorney general in charge of tobacco settlements is Hubert H. Humvee III. Our director of catering is Russell Upsengrubb, and our singing neurologist is Aretha Franklin. Peekaboo Street directs our intensive care unit, which is known as the Peekaboo ICU. Our sexual harassment counselor is Pat McCann, and our Leo Tolstoy biographer is Warren Peace, author of Leo Tolstoy by Warren Peace. Our chief counsel from the law firm of Dewey, Chidman Howe is Louis Dewey, known to his friends as Huey Louie Dewey. Thanks so much for listening. We're Cliff and Clack. The Tapper Brothers. Don't drive like my brother or my sister.
Don't drive like my brother or his sister.
We'll be back next week. Bye-bye.
And now, here is Car Talk's chief mechanic, Vinny Gumbatz, with some very interesting information. Vinny?
Hey, pay attention, will you? If you want a copy of this particular Car Talk show, which is number 22, you call our Shameless Commerce Division at 1-888-CAR-JUNK. You got that?
And is that the same number one would call if one wanted to buy other Car Talk paraphernalia, Vincent?
Oh, no, for other stuff, you just buy Windows 98. It's all embedded right in there with the browser, you dope. Of course you call the same number, 888-CAR-JUNK, or you can get stuff through the online shameless commerce division at cartalk.msn.com.
Thank you so much, Vincent. You've been extremely helpful.
Help this, will you? Car Talk is a production of Dewey Cheatham and Howe and WBUR in Boston.
And even though Linda Wertheimer says, "Porca miseria, ma chi sono questi cafoni?" when she hears us say it, this is NPR, National Public Radio.
On Fridays, the 1A podcast is all about helping you cut through the info fog and get to what's important in the news. Close out the week with us on our Friday News Roundup. Hear from reporters who've been embedded with the biggest news of the week. Join us every week for the Friday News Roundup. Listen to the 1A podcast from NPR and WAMU.
A lot of short daily news podcasts focus on just one story. But right now, you probably need more. On Up First from NPR, we bring you 3 of the world's top headlines every day in under 15 minutes. Because no one story can capture all that's happening in this big, crazy world of ours on any given morning. Listen now to the Up First podcast from NPR.
Conductor Robert Franz says a good melody captures our attention.
And then it moves you through time. Music is architecture in time. If you engage in the moment with what you're listening to, you do lose a sense of the time around you.
How we experience time. That's on the TED Radio Hour from NPR.